Hey guys, so I am back with another video, and today's video is going to be the Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. So Real Housewives of Atlanta is the only reality show that I watch, so I felt like I could come on here and do a recap for you guys. So anyway, I'm gonna jump right in, but I'm gonna try and do each, elaborate on each scene, I suppose, or just, give you guys the rundown just in case you missed it. But anyway, so of course this is season 7, I believe. So of course they do like the rundown of what to expect for this upcoming season. And then of course the first scene starts off with Nene, and you guys know that Nene has basically kind of sort of like ventured off onto her own endeavors. She's doing a lot of like acting and musicals or whatever, and right now she's working on a piece with Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas, and the scene starts out with her and Greg, and she is getting fitted for wig and makeup. I have to say that I am not really feeling her new look. I understand that she got like the plastic surgery for her nose. I still feel like it's a little bit too big. I love Nene, like she's one of my favorites on the show, but I just feel like her makeup and I don't know, is a little bit overboard, though I know she's trying to go for like the whole I was about to say drama queen look, but the whole drag queen look, which is cool or whatever, but I just feel like I don't know how to explain. I'm sure you guys know, because I'm sure everybody is thinking basically the same thing that I'm thinking. But anywho, so that's that. They're in Vegas. She's getting fitted and doing rehearsals for the Cirque du Soleil show in Vegas. And it's some kind of like she's supposed to be sexual in this particular one, and she's talking about how like she's comfortable being sexual and comfortable expressing her, I guess, sexuality, I guess you can say. But yeah, so the next thing you have Kandi. She and Todd are married, so yay for them. They got married and they live together now, and Todd's daughter Kayla is coming to live with them. Now what they're having to deal with at this point is whether or not well, not whether or not, but Kandi gave a suggestion whether he was going to give her whether he was going to give his daughter the Benz, I believe, and he's all like, no, she's gonna have to work for that. She cannot just go from having nothing to having, all this flashy stuff. She has to show that she's earned this, blah 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 blah. And Kandi's like, what? She's gonna be going to a school with other girls that have like, their first car was that kind of car, this kind of car, blah 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 blah. And he's like, I don't care. You have Raleigh sitting in a nice ass like apartment off on the other side of the house. I'm not doing my daughter like that. That's not, so at this point they're having like not an argument per se, just disagreements on different parenting skills. And Kandi feels as though that she should have, as like Riley has, because Todd is saying that she compensates for Riley for not being there by just giving her stuff, giving her stuff, and Todd's like, no, you know what I'm saying, I'm not feeling that. That's not what I'm that's not gonna happen like that. I can totally see though where Todd is coming from, but then again I can see where Kandi's coming from. I don't know, I guess I would just have to be in that situation to, whatever. But yeah, so I know you guys are like, I know everybody knows about the whole big like bomb this season that Apollo is supposed to be going to jail. But yeah, so next scene is Phaedra. She's in this really nice ass like penthouse suite. Her mom comes over and they're talking about pretty much, I guess, why she's not by Apollo's side, because she's at the penthouse suite. Apollo is in their mansion or home or whatever, basically by himself on the court date, and Phaedra's at the penthouse, and her whole side of the story is basically, I don't want my children to be going through this. I don't want paparazzi all in their face. Her whole explanation for the whole, like throughout the whole show, was that she didn't want her kids exposed to that environment, the paparazzi, all of the negativity, which kind of like towards the end, it kind of boils down. Basically, she didn't want her, I guess, reputation to be ruined because of that. But regardless, she married an ex-con, so she should have kind of knew, like, I don't know, like she shouldn't, I don't know, I just felt like she shouldn't have like acted like that towards him, though he did do some fraudulent things. Apollo was in trouble for bank fraud, wire fraud, and mail fraud. So he's facing up to 30 years in prison for that. But I just felt so bad for him throughout the whole experience, because Phaedra was like nowhere to be found. I think she said that she had called him like maybe one time or something. But I just feel like, you know, even though he was like in the wrong, he knew that what he was doing or what business ventures he was doing was gonna cause him to ultimately get in trouble one day, you know. So I just still feel like Phaedra should have stepped up. I don't know, what do you guys think? I just feel like she could have just been there for him, because even though he was in the wrong, I mean, that's still her husband, that's still the father of her kids, and she should have just stuck by him through everything. And you know, even though because she's a lawyer, she also could have like wrote a letter to the judge, something to kind of help him out a little bit or something. She did nothing. She just sat in her penthouse and just, you know, was with her kids, talked to her mom, blah blah blah. But she never like really went to go and see how he was doing, and I just thought that was just like very, very, very rude of her. Like, I don't know, I didn't quite get that. I mean, if you guys can explain that to me in a different kind of light, I guess you can let me know, because hey, I'm only 22 here, so I guess I haven't really experienced life so much. But I just feel like she could have been there for him, because it was just like, what the world. Alright, so now you got the next biggest like thing. So of course, you know, Cynthia isn't like up Nene's ass anymore. They're, you know, they've broken up. Cynthia's burned her friendship agreement, and I guess now she's like build an alliance with Kenya. And you guys know that during the reunion, Kenya and I was about to say Phaedra, Kenya and Porsha got into a, you know, little fight. But if you want to see that, I'll link a video down below that I seen, and I just thought that was hilarious. I cannot stand her ass. I think she is very rude, and just like, she's there, I don't know, she's there for no reason to me. I think she's just, I don't know, I feel like Porsha should have did what she did. I don't care. I mean, it was kind of, you know, but I just felt like she you know, Kenya, I mean, yeah, Kenya had it coming for her. But Kenya's all like, you know,
I just came back from my trip and I just feel so devastated because, you know, the whole world seen this. This was on national television, blah, 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 blah.
So, yeah, that's that whole thing. Or whatever. So then you have Kandi and Porsha. They meet up at like a, I guess Portia's doing like a little promo for her. I know she has a hairline out because I follow her on Instagram. So it might have been something, excuse me, for that. And of course, once they flip to that scene, you can see Porsha and like her chest is like really big and perky, and you know, and here comes Kandi and she's like, oh my god, blah blah blah. She has new boobs, like, girl, have you let anybody touch those yet, blah 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 blah. And yeah, so that's that whole thing. So she's, you know, got like a new body going on and everything. It looks really, really good. So yeah, but I don't know what's up with Kandi's voice. I don't know, like, it's always like, yeah, did you let anybody touch those? I don't know. I love her, but her voice is like very, not rare, but like if it was a group of people and Kandi was to speak, you could point it out. I don't know what word I'm looking for at the moment. But yeah, so Cynthia, she's pretty much mad at Nene because I think Nene had an interview with can't think of his name, the guy that's on Bravo that hosts all the interviews. I cannot think of his name right now. Like, I know it any other time. But she basically made a comment like, Cynthia basically just, you know, wherever the wind blows, Cynthia blows, you know, blah, blah, blah. She's basically just a neutral person, which, I mean, it's nothing wrong with that because, I mean, she pretty much, I can jump to her defense. She pretty much just wants to be not friends with everybody, but she just kind of wants to keep the peace between everybody, which I can understand because who wants to hoop and holler with these chicks all the time? So I could completely understand, you know, what's going on. But anyway, so then you have Apollo's sentencing day. Oh, and I forgot to mention, his brother came over. Apollo's brother, which is his brother on his mother's side. They have same mother, different father, and they're, you know, over there talking, chit chat, blah 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 blah. And he was just asking, you know, about Phaedra and if he needs to talk to Phaedra and get things right, blah 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 blah. And yeah, so that was that. But anyway, so on Apollo's sentencing, on the way he was talking to Todd and he was just, you know, letting him know how he felt, and he's just like, he's kind of upset that Phaedra's not there by his side, blah 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 blah. And basically like, what should I do? And Todd's like, man, just, you know, drop down to your knees and just pray to the Lord, you know, just put it all in his hands. And it's just, I don't know, it's just sad. It's sad. It was very, very sad. But he originally gets sentenced to 8 years, and I think he ends up having to pay, like, I think he said something about like maybe $2.3 million or $1.3 million or something like that, probably in like restitution and court costs and stuff like that. Yeah, Apollo and his mom is like, they're like having dinner or whatever and just talking about the sentencing, and of course Phaedra, and you know, then it just basically boils down to his children as to like, what is he going to tell his kids? You know, that's basically the whole thing with him at this point now. Like, what about my children? What, you know, I want to be in their lives. I'm just upset that this has to take place, but at the same time he's just like, you know what I'm saying, it's cool with me. But did you guys like check out his new, like, more than a 5 o'clock shadow? It's like a full grown like beard goatee combo thing going on. It looks pretty good on him though, I must say. But yeah, so I think reality has like literally sunken in for him that he's gonna have to pull 8 years. But usually when you go to prison, you don't have to pull like the whole time. You have to pull like 80%. So like he said, he's only gonna have to spend like 5 years, which honestly, that is a pretty good sentence for, you know, as much money as he made. And you know, so he could have, for real, he could have like stashed some of that up in hiding, and when he gets out, it'll be there, and you know, everything will just be fine. But anywho, so next we'll go on to Nene, who is rehearsing for the Zumanity Cirque du Soleil show, and they're like at the scene where she's like moaning, and like then she goes off to say, you know, about how comfortable she is with her sexuality, but at the same time, like, it's supposed to be like the scene they're showing, she is the, I think, ringleader as far as I can tell. And they're like in this big circle, it's men, women, just basically a big orgy is what they're saying, and they're all like moaning or whatever, and she's like, she is really unsure, maybe a little uncomfortable as far as that goes, because she has never had an orgy. And then Greg, and then that was so funny, Greg is like, really? And she's like, so you have? And he's like, no. But she's like, so how could you say like, really? You know what I'm saying? And he starts going like, what did he say? Oh, he's like, so what counts as an orgy? 3? And she, no, a threesome is a threesome, and I guess basically after that it counts as an orgy. And Nene's like, no, threesome, foursome, twosome, fivesome, six. And she's like, I have never participated in any of that. And then she's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm so excited. At the end of the day, she cannot wait. You know, she wants to release her inner drag queen. I don't know why she's so obsessed with, well, I know she's, you know, very supportive of the, I guess, gay community, drag community, but seems like that's what she wants to do. She wants to release her inner drag, is what she said. So then we have the scene where it's Kandi and Todd talking, and he's basically asking what's her whole, you know, where does she stand, or what's her whole opinion on the whole Phaedra and Apollo thing. And Kandi's basically like, you know, neutral at this point while talking to Todd, but at the same time she's like, well, I am gonna be there for my friends. So basically she's on Phaedra's side, but she's not, you know, putting that out there for Todd, but she's just basically standing her ground. And you know, so that whole situation comes up. They have Cynthia and the Bailey agency, and her husband Peter, and he comes over and brings her lunch basically. I'm sorry, I like bit my lip. So he comes over and brings her lunch. You know, they have like a little sushi lunch, and he brings her flowers, and they're talking, and he's asking her basically about relocating bar 1, or not really relocating, but another location in Charlottesville. I get them mixed up. I'm from Virginia, and we have a Charlotte, I think Charlottesville, Virginia, and then Charlotte, North Carolina, South Carolina. I think it's Charlotte. But he, anyway, that's besides the point. But he's relocating there, or not relocating, but he's putting another bar 1 there, because I believe the old one is like foreclosed. I don't know. But anyway, so they're talking about, he's talking about getting into business with Cynthia and her becoming his business partner or whatever. And to be honest, I believe that's probably why he brought her lunch. She proclaims it's because of Nene that they're getting closer and that they're doing this and doing that. I feel like that was just a ploy for him to bring up his business plan. What do you guys think? I honestly feel that way. But yeah, so they're just discussing the new location, and you know, about her being his new business partner, and you know, of course she's all gung-ho for that shit. So yeah. Then next you have Phaedra and Kandi, who are back at Phaedra's hotel, and they're just talking or whatever, and talking about her standing by Apollo's side, and she's all like, well, Hillary stood by Bill even when he was getting his dick sucked, blah 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 blah. And they actually put that shit on TV. Like, dick was on TV. Like, they didn't bleep that out. It was just there for the world to hear. That is crazy. I don't know what they did for that to stay there on television like that, or but it was there. I don't think I've ever heard, have I, on national television? I don't think so. I don't think so. But that was the whole example that Kandi brought up for, well, not, well, kind of, but she, during the cutaway, that's what she said. But she, well, basically she brought that up to Phaedra during their, you know, that was like the example. But Phaedra's again talking about how protective she is of her kids, and how she doesn't even drive fast, and in order to avoid getting tickets or getting, I guess, possibly taken away from her kids. But at the same time, you married this man in sickness and health, rich, poor, blah blah, whatever the hell else they say in that whole matrimonial speech thing. I just feel like she should have just been there for her husband, because there's no, you know, I know that she has kids, and I know, but at the end of the day, you're supposed to be there for your man or your significant other. Like, I really like Phaedra, but I just don't really agree with the decision that she has made in this particular episode as far as not being there for her man. I just really don't. I don't agree with it. Kandi's there, she's listening, and she's just all like, you know, nodding her head and shit, and she's just like, look, I'm here for you, but you know, I'm not good at counseling and shit, so I can't really, but you know, I'm here for you. Then she drives home, Phaedra drives home after like 2 days, and her mom's with her, and she brings the youngest son, I believe his name is Dylan. She brings him there, and her and Apollo is having like this like kind of heated argument, nothing like crazy, but a heated argument, basically asking why wasn't she there for him, and you know, like, she could have been at the house, you know, she didn't particularly have to go to court, but she could have been there at the house with him in the house, just, you know, for love, support, somebody to hug on, love on, so he could play with his kids. You know, that was just different things that he gave, which again, I totally understand. So I don't know, what are you guys' take on the whole Phaedra not being there for Apollo? I just think it was just so sad. I mean, she already knew that he was going to jail. That's a no-brainer, because he's an ex-convict, and usually after you've been in trouble once or more than once, or whatever the case is, 9 times out of 10 you are gonna get some jail time, and especially probably because he's probably out on parole or whatever the case is. I'm sure he had like time over his head, or you know, probation or something over his head, which I think he did state in the beginning. So he knew he was going to jail, and I'm sure she knew he was going to jail, because she's a lawyer. So how the fuck could she not know that he wasn't going to jail? So she should have been there, and I don't know how many more times I can really say that. I mean, she should have been there. Then they get to arguing about money. He's proclaiming like, you know, her money was her money and his money was her money. Like, he never, you know, I guess she never really shared his money. She never shared her money with him. Like, so that was kind of in the argument too. And you know, it started out, he was talking about how when they first started dating, or when they got married, he was just told, you know, to pay the utilities because he's not up to the high life. He wasn't, you know, he wasn't about, well, not about, but he wasn't up to her standard as far as living how she lived. And she gave him basically kind of sort of, not an ultimatum, but, you know, she gave him like this, you know, basically you pay the utilities and I'll handle the rest. And then he spoke, you know, she saw him buy some new clothes, some really nice clothes, and he had to pay a $35,000 mortgage, I believe is what she said. I don't know, and it just got heated about, you know, money and everything. And then he goes and he's just like, man, I don't even want to be with you anymore. I want a divorce. I don't want to have to deal with this anymore. And Phaedra's just all gung-ho, and she's just like, hey, whatever. And that's it. Like, she's not even, it really didn't faze her. And you know something, like, throughout the show, well, not throughout the show, but at the beginning, you get, like, when they show you what's supposed to be going on for the month, they show something about Phaedra having a man on the side or something like that. So I wonder if this has anything to do with that particular guy, but I guess we shall see. And then they're also arguing about how she's like, when the whole sharing the money thing, she's like, I paid your legal bills, and he's like, the fuck you did? I paid my own legal bills on my own money. Like, he just, I don't know, he made it seem like she just never did anything for him. And she's all upset about, her whole thing is about her kids and about not being put on display for the public and public shame, public humiliation. But I mean, she's on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's a famous lawyer. So from Jump Street, she was already, I'm sorry, I had to open my door because I like heard something and scared the shit out of me. So I had to get up and open the door because I'm a big kid. But anyway, from Jump Street, she was already going to be put out there because she is already practically, what the crap? She's already practically famous. So that's just that. So, and like I said, now we are at the point where Apollo asks for a divorce, and she's just all like, you know, whatever, that's fine with me. Basically, pack your shit, get the fuck out, go to jail, do what you gotta do, because I really don't give a fuck. Basically is how she put it, but in proper terms, she was just like, you know, if that's what he wants, then so be it. But yeah, so that's where we ended at, and can't wait for next week. I'm excited for what this season has to offer. Seems like it's gonna be a lot more juicier than the past few seasons. So yeah, so that's it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to thumbs up and leave your comments down below. I'm dying to know what you guys have to say about this season, about this episode. And if you haven't seen it, you need to go and watch it because shit's about to get real, like seriously. But until next time, thank you guys for watching. Love you.